I think, like, we, like, right now, because most of us are, like, either, like, adults or like, young adults or, like, late teenagers who, like, have, to an extent, have, like, exposed, like, you know, disposable income, and we can spend on cards, upgrade our decks, and we know what cards are good, what cards are bad, we know what to buy, we buy the good cards, we upgrade our deck, and we play, and we want to play the new thing, and the new thing, and the new thing, and the better thing, and the stronger thing, and the new card comes out that makes our deck better, we want to play it again. And so you're always kind of going like, yes, 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 I want to play more, better, better, better. But back then, like, when I started Vanguard, like, that idea didn't even exist. Like, I knew of the cards existing because I played Cardfight Capital, which was like the pre Cardfight area simulator that we had. And, like, obviously I could play with all of the crazy decks and cards that exist, right? But then, when I actually, like, would play physically, it would be me with my Aichi trial deck versus my brother with the Kai trial deck for 6 months. Like, and the reason to play would always, it wouldn't be like, you know, they wouldn't be like, oh, I want to test the new cards or I want to practice for a tournament. It was the same as, like, saying, like, let's play, like, the same way you say to your friend or your sibling, like, let's play Mario Kart, or let's play Apex, or, like, I mean, Apex didn't exist back then, or, like, let's play Smash Bros. It was the same as, like, let's play Vanguard, right? So it was like, we just wanted to play the game, because the game was such a novelty back then, and Vanguard was so different. Like, we had played Yu-Gi-Oh! Together before, and things like that, and played, like, Bakugan together before, and we never really cared about the meta. We just, like, tried to put the cards that we liked together and make a functioning deck and play. Whereas, like, and with Vanguard, like, we just played 2 trial decks against each other for months and months and months on end, and we were just basically like, yeah, like, it's fun to just play the game. And the reason why I bring that up is because then obviously, like, after some time, I discovered my locals, and there were tournaments, and I went to the first tournament with a trial deck. I got my ass beat, and it wasn't even close. And, you know, with all that being said, I was like, damn, okay, I cannot keep going with just a trial deck, I need to start upgrading. So I started saving up my allowance and saving up my money so I could upgrade my decks, build Spectral Duke with only like 3 PGs, and I was missing a whole bunch of stuff. But, you know, like, that's where, you know, the environments changed me, and I was like, okay, I need to upgrade my deck. But then I couldn't really play with my brother anymore because I couldn't afford a second deck to give him to play that wasn't just a trial deck. So then we started playing a bit less, and, like, eventually, like, I would start to open boxes and stuff and, like, try to throw together him, like, a deck out of, like, the random spare stuff I pulled, like Murakumo stuff that nobody wanted and things like that. And, like, I couldn't really afford to build anything for him. And back then I was also a lot more selfish. Like, that's probably I am thankful to my exes for turning me into a less selfish person. God bless them. But I was very selfish back then and really just thinking about myself a lot. So I was like, yes, I need to build myself a deck. And I wasn't really thinking about, like, building stuff for my brother or for my friends and stuff like that back then. But nowadays it's like my brother is always the priority. It's like, oh, if I'm gonna do something, I want to make sure my brother can equally enjoy it, right? And sometimes, like, you know, if he wants to play Vanguard, we'll play Vanguard, but if he's in the mood for Smash Bros, we'll play Smash Bros, you know, and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm talking about all of this is that I feel like these days it's easy to forget that some people just want to play the game for the sake of playing the game, and that's why you have this term of, like, kitchen table TCG, where you'll see people go into a card shop and buy starter decks or buy, like, packs or, like, Battle League decks that, like, Pokemon has and stuff like that. They'll come into the card shop, they'll buy it, they won't interact with anyone in the card shop, and they will leave, and they'll never come back. You'll never see them in that shop again. Because the only reason why they bought that is because they want to play the game. Like, they just want to play the game. They don't want to compete. They don't care about interacting with the community. They don't need a locals. They don't need that, like, competitive atmosphere. They just need a game to play with friends, much like how you buy a board game to play with friends, or you buy a video game to play with friends, or you download, you know, like, freaking League because you want to hate your friends, you know, and things like that. Like, it's just another type of enjoyment with another person that you want to enjoy it with. And I think we often forget that because we're so focused on the competitive side of things, and we're so focused on like, yeah, these are the best cards, this is how you can go to tournaments, this is what matters, you know, blah blah blah. And like, you know, it's always like pushing that kind of idea of like, yes, like this is good, this is good, upgrade with this, build this. But sometimes you gotta just remember that like a lot of people just enjoy playing. Like they don't care about, and like I meet some friends here as well who like, they don't care about building the new stuff because they found a deck that clicks with them and they like spent a bit of money to build it, and they're happy to just play that deck forever. Like they just have one pet deck that they really, really like and they just play it forever and ever and ever and ever, that they never get bored of it. Like, and that's cool. Like that's super sick. And like, I think I'm kind of like, I have some of those decks too, but I'm so far gone into the competitive sphere that like, I've completely forgotten what it was like to just like play a trial deck for 6 months, like with no changes and just doing the same plays all the time and like just getting excited, just getting hyped about the game itself, right? This was not a topic I thought I'd be talking about, but I guess I could probably cut a video out of that. Not gonna lie, I could probably cut a video out of that. So thank you for your attention. I met a new player at a exchange event last week, and so the way exchange events works, plural singular destruction of death. The way exchange events work is it's a tournament with no stakes, so whether you win or you lose does not matter. You just write down who your opponent is every round and that's it, so you don't get paired against the same person. So you just play against different people, so you're kind of incentivized to bring like fun stuff and like non-competitive stuff, and it's also a good place for new players to enter. So I played in it, and then one round I got paired up against a guy who was just playing with a Leonor trial deck with unsleeved, like unsleeved Leonor trial deck. I was like, oh damn! So I was asking him, I was like, oh, like did you start Vanguard recently? He's like, yeah, I literally just started, like with the new trial decks. I was like, oh cool, like what do you think of the game so far? And he's like, oh, it's super fun, it's so cool. And I think he was like a high schooler or something. Like I could feel that he was younger in that sense. But like, you know, he had this spark in his eyes. I was like, yes, so good, so good. Like it just felt, why doesn't Sleeve literally have it? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna question it. Maybe he just preferred it, or he didn't have time to sleeve it. And you know, he was just playing with the trial deck, and like I was just like, you know, the whole game we were playing, I was like explaining every single thing about the deck's mechanics, you know, like what my deck does, and then like explaining like everything I do, so he like could follow every little step of it, and then that kind of thing. And then at the end, like you know, I still won, but it was very close. Like I almost decked out, and I really highlighted that fact. It's like, oh, you played really well. Like, you know, like the game went on for so long, I almost decked out. Like you almost had this. You know, if you just like stalled out a couple more turns, like you would have had it. And then even though like I won the game, because it's still like a tournament kind of thing, right? It's an exchange meeting, but it's still a tournament. So it's like, you know, just throwing for the sake of it is like, you know, it's pretty obvious if you do it. And it's not exactly, it's pretty disrespectful as well. But after we played the round, I was just like, damn, I wish I had like spare like effect crits or effect draws or like the OT or like spare effect PGs, just like give him. I was like, bro, like just like running into a new player like that, I was like, I just wish I could give you stuff right now. Because like seeing someone that's already like hyped about the game, but I could tell they're high schoolers, they probably don't have that much like, you know, extra like spending money compared to like us like working adults. And I was like, damn, I wish I could just like throw cards at you, just go wild, buddy, you know. And then my friend Yuki, he was like, oh, he like looked at our game when we were finished and we were just like talking, and then he was like, oh, did you just start? And he's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, oh, welcome to the world of Vanguard. I was like, oh, that I should have said that. he took the wind.